Okay, I have some really good decluttering lined up for you today. Grab a donation box, a black trash bag. First, we're gonna make a pass through the bathroom. I think this is one of the most helpful sessions on the bathroom I've ever done. Plus, super fun because my brother stops by. He gives some male perspective. The category of things that he receives most as a gift and is sometimes hard to part with, we're gonna go through those together. That was really fun. And then we're gonna head into the kitchen. We're gonna go step by step, very guided. Where do you start first? And this is a full 2 hours of decluttering, so you can get a lot done. And I did put timestamps down below, so if you wanna skip around at all, you can, but we're gonna head into the bathroom first. A black trash bag is like a necessity in there, so grab one of those and let's go. Hello, how are you doing today? I'd love to know how you are. Scale of 1 to 5, 1, our counseling pastor used to say, 1 is someone shot a hole in your gas tank. 5 is, I'm doing pretty good today. I've got a little energy, a little motivation, ready to tackle the space that I'm working on. So 3 is a meh, in the middle. Like we'll lend each other energy to each other, right? So that's absolutely okay. 4, not bad. Hey, I think most of us would take a 4 this morning, right? I am seeing 4s and 4.5s. I'm so glad to hear that. That's awesome. So if you're a 3 and below and you need to borrow some energy, then we got it for you this morning, right? Well, we're gonna go through some things. My mom was gonna be here this morning. We were gonna go through this stuff together, and then she got invited to a 5. Susan, yes, you're gonna be lending energy to others as well. But my mom got invited to a stamping thing, and so she was like, oh, is it? I'm like, go, oh my goodness, that is her happy place. Like, yes, of course. All of us would want her to be there, right? 4.5. Either the people that are not doing so well now are intimidated to post a 5. Jesslyn, hey, Jesslyn, thank you for sharing all of your wisdom with the hair products. We'll probably refer to that today too while we're working and visiting. Okay, so this is a live session that we did inside of our membership group. So I'm kind of giving you a taste of what we do in there all the time. And you're also hearing me reference Jesslyn. So she's a hairstylist in our membership group. She has given us such great advice and tips, and we're gonna share a little bit more from her a little bit further along in the video as well. A 3, thank you, Evie, for being honest. A 5, I love this, wow. We're in good moods today. That's awesome. Okay. I don't know why I didn't expect that. Probably because I'm like at a solid 3 right now, and I'm going to pretend. So actually just being here, 4.8. I like how particular we're getting. Just being with you brings it up a full point for sure. So I'm glad to be with you. And let's not underestimate, even like no matter where we're at, the power of bringing our physical space into order, straightening it up, tightening it. Even if today you're kind of like, man, I don't feel like making hard decisions. Even if we just go in with the goal to refamiliarize and get stuff tidied up and straightened up a little bit, huge difference, right? It makes such a huge difference. Awesome. A 6, what? That's awesome. 4.5. Dang, okay. I love this. This is a 6, wow. You guys are the coolest. I am 4 and optimistic. I love that. Cleaned 3 toilets as soon as I woke up? What? That's awesome. All right, head to the bathroom instead of watching from your dining room. Yes, Lorraine, good. All right, so head to the space that you are gonna work. Remember, we're doing trash bag therapy. So if you have a black trash bag, it's so helpful. It is like once it goes in, it no longer exists. And that is so, so powerful, right? Okay, so I did ask my mom ahead of time about some of her products and stuff in here because I do want to reorganize this. I just wish I had my containers. Okay, I do have these ones. They're just not super deep. So I don't know if that's gonna achieve what I'm hoping for. And like, see, this just isn't. This is like what my mom's been using for this kind of stuff. It doesn't actually work that great, right? Because it's not tall enough. And so we were talking about, she said she doesn't use this gall. When would it? See, what I don't always love about hair products, I know they put the little thing for like, once it's opened, this is when it expires, but I wish they would actually put like a manufacturing date or something on it. Anyways, it's a little icon with the open lid on it, and it has a number in it for the number of months that something is good. So this one says 24. So once you open it, that's how good if a product has that beauty product is good for, because a lot of times they don't have any other kind of date on it. So grab a Sharpie, put a date on it when you get it. That gives us such valuable data to work with. This she does use, and this she does use, but doesn't use this one. I did ask her about this because I'm like, this is so old. Like, going by Jesslyn's rules, there's no way that active ingredients in here are still active. Okay, and now we're learning that we can't do it all, right? Sometimes we have to outsource things that are important to us. So today's video is sponsored by Factor, and I have been outsourcing healthy cooking to them for over 4 months now. They've been doing a fantastic job in taking care of it for me. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals right to your doorstep. So especially right now in a really busy season, I appreciate that Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and sets me up for success. I get to skip the grocery store, prep work, cooking and cleaning, and instead eat stress-free with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals, and they taste so good. Every fresh, never frozen meal is restaurant quality, chef crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. They taste awesome, they're filling, and I feel good afterwards. And so I have more energy for decluttering and the other things that are important to me. And there's so much variety. Every week there are 35 options to choose from, including popular choices like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. And Factor is flexible, so you can look ahead and change up your order every week if you need to. They have plans from 4 to 18 meals every week, or you can pause or even reschedule your delivery anytime. I've also been getting them for my dad too. These are, we have a lot of favorites right now. Queso fundido and ground beef, the cheesy garden herb chicken. I think my dad and I aren't picky, but we really appreciate good flavor and good food. And so the quality, the ingredients, the taste, the flavor, it's so good. And now, if you want to try Factor and save some money too, head to factor75.com or click on the link down below to use code 50minimalmom to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's 50minimalmom at factor75.com to get 50% off and free shipping on your first box. All right, I'm telling you. Okay, so we outsource the cooking for now. It can just be for a season, and we focus on getting our house decluttered because that is the gift that keeps on giving, and it is going to free up so much extra time and energy in your week. I promise. They quit a long time ago. So then she has a couple more. Hey, see, my mom is actually very organized. She did put the date on it, 1/2/24. That is great data to work with. So again, remember the tip to write on it when you open it and start using it, so then you actually do know when it expires or when you shouldn't be using it anymore. Some of these, I'm kind of surprised too, they don't actually have that little icon with, maybe because they're cheaper products, I don't know. Anyway, okay. The other thing that was not working here, so we have hand towels, which I think these sometimes get put out for like holidays and stuff, but then it's also like, these are the washcloths and stuff that my mom actually uses on a daily basis. So those get used frequently, these not so much. And so I just think we need a little bit better organization. And then this, again, for our Norwex fans, right? This is a, it's just a thing to dry your hands on, right? It's supposed to just be so you can just like grab it and dry your hands on it. And then how does it work? Do you put it through, oh, you must put it through here to get it to hang on your towel rod. Super cute. And actually, I actually really like these for kids because I believe it's anti-bac, right? Is it the antibacterial? Yeah, back lock, yes. So Diana is coming down today with the kids, and I'm gonna ask my mom if she wants to give this to her. This is great for like a kid's bathroom because it stays on the rod, and then they literally just like wipe their hands down it. You don't ever have to like straighten a towel, and then it's the antibacterial. So I'm gonna ask her if she would wanna give this to her. Okay, so what I was really hoping for like these things is a smaller container that they would actually stand up in. But I'm also looking at this. So the other thing is, I kind of want to go grab my brother, but I don't want to put him on the spot. Let me go see if I can borrow him for 1 minute. Eric just asked if he has to do his hair. You don't even have to be on video if you don't want to.
I don't care.
Okay.
As long as it's okay. Like,
Yeah, you're good. Come on in.
my goal's never to embarrass my sister.
You're very kind. You got your black minimalist shirt on?
Oh, nice. In mechanic world, it just hides the oil really well.
Oh, I thought it's because it's more slimming.
Oh, that too. Ooh, nice. Notice we're from the chest up.
Right?
Waistlines.
All right, so...
Oh, I was going to ask you about this. Okay, hang on. This one, hold that thought. Hold that judgmental thought. The question I got for you, because this is real, what do you do with stupid gifts that people give you that you're very grateful for?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see that's been coming, did you?
I didn't.
Okay, hang on. So, when you were a guy, and actually between family members and female friends, that it's not that, trust me.
No, but it's like the standard gift.
Cologne is one of the only things that is actually like a gift.
Okay.
So all like 3/4 of all that.
Yeah.
And then
I do like this one, black by
yeah.
Cologne.
There's a few.
Yeah. So, do you know what the problem is? Is it breaks down over time.
Well, it still smells good.
Doesn't. It does. It just doesn't last. Like
That's
it'll smell
fine.
good out of the container, but okay. So it does not matter if it was gifts, right? We only keep stuff that we want, unless it's like a sentimental, and then of course you can keep it. Are
those two I like.
same? Yeah.
No, one's an aftershave if you're the type of guy that shaves every day, but it still smells really good.
Yeah.
And the other one's just a cologne I like.
Okay. So is any that one's almost empty. You must have
Yeah.
that one
Oh
too.
yeah. I've never dealt with this. This is.
It's
like,
just accumulated, right?
Yes, it's just one of those things like, oh, you got another gift. We'll put it where all the other crap is,
Yeah.
right? We're human.
Yep.
We're in a safe spot. We're wearing black. We're thinning, and so like feeling confident about being on a camera.
You're awesome. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just put back the ones, and then I'm gonna move them up a shelf because I don't think you need to take up Mom's prime real estate here, and you're a little bit taller. But just put back the ones you for sure like and want to keep, and then the other stuff can go. Would that be a way to do it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm game.
Okay.
This isn't.
All you. All right, so let's see if we can show how much we have here.
You got the waistline in.
Yeah, sorry.
Those two I like.
Yep.
This one I like.
Yep. You don't have to justify any of them.
No.
Yeah.
That one, and then like truthfully.
New York at night.
You know I
That
have
sounds like Dad.
You know I have a cousin who's like 15 years younger than me that gave that to me for a Christmas gift.
Oh, really?
So, okay, so just watch. Christmas gift.
Okay.
Another gift from a friend.
Escape for Men. This reminds me of like Friends with Joey. He's like, du jour for men. And like... that one's...
I think that one's dated, yeah. Another thing too, these two were probably 20s, that one was late 20s, early 30s, right?
Okay, so these are legit old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a good farmer. I don't throw nothing away. We could use that one
we
day.
could use it. All right, you have 2 aftershave.
Yeah, those would always just come in kits, so you're good. You can throw both.
Okay. And then you got the...
There's no sentimental attached to the rest of it. Because like all these were gifts. Because a lot of times you did get
you get like simple stuff.
Yeah. Which is still a good gift. I'm not knocking that. Like,
don't you just love the names? Eternity for Men. Like...
That's because you're doing it all wrong.
Curve crush. Like, ooh. Okay.
Actually, that one was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah.
Okay.
But you gotta admit, I brought up a good question. Like, what do you do when it comes to gifts? And you said you
we
don't
talk about gifts a lot because if it was someone you were like still dating and they're like, it's their favorite scent on you and you're like, that's different. But if it's just like, oh, this was 15 years ago. Yeah. Like, probably they're not expecting you to wear it anymore.
This is also even a shelf that I don't really think about a whole lot.
I kind of wondered about that.
Yeah.
So I can put it up a shelf higher and it won't hurt you?
No, we're good.
Okay, cool.
We're totally good.
Wow, so you actually... Here, okay, switch spots with me. I'm going to show how much you pared that down to. That was easy.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the biggest problem for me is... and I think if there's people out there that, have kids and have a regular professional career path that just... isn't 40 hours a week, right? Is way more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of my patterns were the same as them. Like, you just don't get time to deal with it. And even like today, this is the hard one. So like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're in the grind and you're like, yeah, we're going to do this, right? Like we're going to gut the house or something. Yeah. Then you wake up and it's a perfect fall morning and you get a cup of coffee. And instead of working in here, earlier this morning, I was drinking coffee on the front porch, just going, I gotta go to the shop and work and get covered in grease and oil because we're coming up on fall and I gotta drive a semi.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm just gonna sit here and watch the cats chase the squirrels around the yard and watch Kona play with the kitten. And
you know what I love is, how old are you turning in November?
40.
I feel like this is that's when I put the bird feeders in, right?
Oh.
You just it's like, I'm just going to take a minute.
Total.
You're not a total.
Yeah, we're not getting the bird feeders yet. There's
Just
still
the tendencies. It's when it starts. Dude, once you get a bird feeder, I'm telling you, you won't go back.
Oh, okay. So I was listening to a podcast where they had pigs so we had pigs between our whole family. We had between 3,000 and 4,000 hogs all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And the gal was talking about having them nip at her ankles and how she just can't stand it. And I'm just like, yeah. You think you want animals? No, you don't. Right. I don't need a bird feeder in life.
Yeah, well, they're
Roadrunner would be cool though, but that didn't sit in the driveway. No, I'm open because this actually though what did tie into what I was gonna say hey, it's not that I'm trying to be mean or anything. It's just these are gifts, and it's also a cupboard I don't go in a whole lot, and so.
No, and sometimes it's nice just to deal with a contained category of stuff, and then move on about your day.
Well, being a guy, I got my piles of stuff, but I always know which pile it's in.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. That freed up a ton of space, so that's gonna feel really good. Cool. Good job.
Oh, your brother's still simple, right?
Yeah. It's more of a minimalist than I might have known, so.
I do like the simpler path, especially as you get older.
See? Telling you.
We're still a long ways away from bird feeders.
You're not old. You're not old. I won't get you a bird feeder for your birthday. Wow. Okay. So, that's what we're keeping. It is just, I'm going to wash them off too. We got these two, this one, and this guy. Express Reserve Kenneth Cole Black. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. They do fit in this container. So, and we're going to move that up here. Cool. Okay. So this is cool because now we can just keep, I don't even know that we need a container for my mom's hair products, for the ones that she uses all the time, and they can actually be in a much easier reach for her. So that feels good. I like that. And then I think I will grab a Sharpie. So for any that don't have dates on them, I do want to add dates to it. Okay. So now I think we could, I'm going to grab one of these containers. I don't know if any of these are going to be my permanent containers, but it really is always nice to kind of test drive with just stuff that you have. So these are the really inexpensive ones from Target, that just come in lots. I especially like these for drawers. That's more what they're for, not for this type of thing, because they don't have the straight sides and they're a little bit flexible. So for drawers, they're great because you can kind of cram them in. But for this type of application, it's not actually the best. But again, I just want to use what I have and kind of test drive things and just give a home, a clear, delineation to things. So for now, I'm going to just put these back in here, but just in the back and on the bottom. And then this, and then these ones here. So very easy to just see them and to grab them. Okay, so this container we're going away with. This was all stuff that we don't need. Okay. Get all of our discard stuff together here. That's awesome. Well, and we just have to be, so this is all the stuff we're letting go of. When you think about things like cologne or perfume, when you actually think about it, unless you wear it every single day, but they think about the times you actually wear it and then how much, how long a container like this lasts, right? So some of us like to have a little variety, but if you have 12 of these, there's not enough days in the year where you even wear it enough, right? And it does break down over time. The smell changes, it doesn't last. So, just being aware of that, we're deciding how much inventory. And yes, absolutely, things that were gifts, does not matter, right? Or even things that are given to you. Like, I gave this to my mom, and I really would have hoped that if she didn't like it and it didn't work well, I mean, I can tell she used a bunch of it, but you know, that she would have felt like she didn't have to keep it. And so if there are things that have been given to you or tried, even if they're expensive, this was like $37, which for me is expensive, and I can spend more on hair products, but it doesn't matter. Like, we just need this space to function well, right? That is the name of the game. Okay, so we got that stuff tidied up. We'll use this side for hair products. Over here, my mom's so kind that now that Maggie and Gage have braces, and they come here often to do homeschool, and we just come here often. She wanted to create a spot for them to have stuff to brush their teeth here. So that was very kind of her. So that is kind of this section over here. I also don't like it. She has that kind of like rubbery matte stuff in here, and it gets like wrinkled and stuff. So I have contact paper, and I think I want to bring, excuse me, that over, and it's just kind of dirty and doesn't lay well. So wipe out the cabinet, put that down, and then I think that will function a lot better as well. But, God, this feels so much better. And then we did also take this out too to make the washcloths fit in here better. That just makes my heart really happy, right? It just so, I don't know, even though these containers I like how they're just even like white and clean, and yeah, that just feels really good. Okay, let's see. We were gonna go through her drawer too, but she's not here, so we can't do that. Why don't I switch gears to answering questions? Make sure she likes the contact paper too. Oh, you don't like contact paper? Really? Okay. I will check first. Okay, so tips to help release expensive products that you think you might use someday. So that this is the use it or lose it. So if you are coming across some things and you're like, ugh, like, but I really wanted to use these and learn them, because I know too, I've gotten products in the past and I'm like, I think I'm just not using it right, or I put too much in, so next time I need to use less, or I didn't put it in the right spot, or whatever. Pull them out. Commit to using them now. We don't, unless it's for like something for special occasions, pull it out, commit to using them the next 2 weeks, and then after that, if it is still not working, permission to let it go. Not every product works for every hair. And we didn't talk about it on Wednesday, but even just as we age and hormones and different changes, even products that might have worked well for us in the past might not, or like Jessalyn also said, your hair might need a break from it. So could the product be expired? Could it not be the right fit for your hair? Could you not be the right fit for it? Could you just not be using it right? There's actually a lot of variables. And so you, by committing to using them over the next 2 weeks, you're going to find out if you have the bandwidth for that. And if you don't, no shame, no guilt, no nothing, right? We just let them go, because it's just giving us the data. Like, I don't have time for that right now. And that's okay. You know, I am really like learning not to use the word should, right? And I see so many comments of like, I should do this and I should do that. And how much we put that on ourselves. And, you know, and especially in regards to like, I should be further with decluttering my house. And the truth is, for each one of us, there has been a set of circumstances that have led to where we are today. And many of those circumstances have been completely outside of our control. And so, and a lot of those things have undermined our confidence in ourselves, which then leads to lack of motivation. We don't feel confident in our decision making, so that leads to a lack of motivation. And so we get really down on ourselves, like, why haven't I done this? Why didn't you go do it? You know you would feel better if your house was simplified. But the truth is that there have been things that have got us to here that have made it so that is not our natural inclination, just to get up and go do the thing, right? So knowing that there's no shoulds, you are here today, that's all we can deal with and live with, right? You're not behind, you are here where you're here based on the circumstances that have led up till now. But if you really do want to get things decluttered, that's where we have to stick together. And then we have to learn these tricks that help get us out of our brain of rerunning, I paid money for that, I'm just dumb and I don't know how to use it, right? Oh, that just makes me, even just saying that, it feels like to my stomach. There's nothing wrong with you, right? Whether your house is messy or clean, or you use all the products or you don't, nothing. It's just been a set of circumstances that have got us to where we are. So we're gonna practice these tips. We're gonna remember that 5 minutes matters and that you're never behind in this group. You always just jump in right where we're at. So today we're doing bathrooms. And even if you don't feel motivated and you feel like you're not in a good place to make decisions, just go and straighten up your cabinet, right? Just take a glance through. Just look for some silly thing that's been living in there for 8 years that no one ever uses, right? And you have permission today just to let it go and not have to worry about it anymore. So pull the products out. Look, my goodness, she even put a date on the top, right? Top and bottom. So even if they get separated from each other, you still know, right? I love it. My mom's the coolest. Okay, get out a Sharpie, put dates on them. Like, give yourself a deadline. I think that's awesome. Okay, where do you keep extras that you actually use regularly? Great question. Really depends on the size of your bathroom, right? For some, you have space in cabinets and you could just get a bin and put your extras in it. Not all of us have that luxury. At our house in our bathroom, I have that small Time Will Tell bin, and I really like that. It's dual purpose. It is extra stuff and like extra contacts, extra toothbrushes, that kind of stuff. And then it's also my Time Will Tell bin. So if I'm going through stuff and I'm just like, you know, I toss it in the Time Will Tell bin, create a little separation, collect more data. And then when that starts to fill up, I'm like, okay, we got to go through it. And then I look for the things. Remember the Loom deodorant? That stayed in there for quite a while because I was like, I paid money for that. We don't like the smell. We don't like the feel of it. But surely at some point we'll change our minds and get desperate enough. Nope, never happened, right? So that little bin, it gives a ton of data to work with and it's super helpful, and it's also a great place to store extras. Some of us have to store extras in a different closet or under the bed or somewhere else. It really depends on how much space, but it's so important that your daily stuff functions well. It's easy to see, get to, and easy to put away. It's not a cat, throw it away. Amen, sister. Well said. Okay, just checking. Is that icon that shows like the 6 months, 12 months, 24 months on makeup and lotions start when you actually open it or when you purchased it? Open it. So it starts when you open it, but that's what's like, it's hard because, and that's why we have to write on things to know when we opened it. But I really do, like this actually has a manufacturer date on it. Wow. 10/19 to 23. And then an expiration date of 26. But this one has that, this doesn't. I mean, really think back. If you've had something, like when I actually thought about how long this had been, I was like, wow, that really is like 5 years old. And then question, do you want to use products that are that old, knowing that the ingredients break down and they're not as effective? So you might have to just throw stuff away, and you have permission to do that, and it's okay. And we're all gonna get through it together. It just is what it is, right? Felicia says, I'm very inconsistent for a long period of time. I could be done by now. I would love to look back on some of your videos or podcasts around procrastination to build some strong, motivated bones. So Felicia, here is the number one thing that you could do right now to build motivation is to attend the body doubling sessions. Even if you're like, I'm just gonna do 15 minutes. So we have live body doubling every day at 10 and 7 during the week, 9 and 7 on the weekends. We have these ideas of building motivation and learning things and whatnot. It is more about consistently doing it. That's how you don't even create motivation, you create momentum and confidence, and then that's what makes you more inspired and motivated to go forward. And so I wouldn't try to go back and watch anything that makes us feel behind and kind of overwhelmed. I would jump in every chance that you can get with the body doubling. You need to set reminders on your phone, because I mean, I know even for myself, I'm like, oh, I want to pop in, see how things are going, and then I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I totally just missed it again, right? Set reminders on your phone. Try to get into as many of the body doubling sessions that you can, even if you're just working for 5, 10, 15 minutes. That and make sure Each time you do, have a very defined area that you're working on. One shelf, one drawer, one spot on the bedroom floor, one pile of random stuff, because we need to finish it. Like, I needed it today for this to be done when I close it. Now, containers I might switch out, but the decluttering will be done and this stuff will all be dealt with. That is how we get the like feel good dopamine rush from it. And I was listening to a podcast the other day and the guy was talking about how incompleted tasks, he said it's like it leaves like a residue in our brain. And he said that's why like email inboxes are so daunting to people, because they're never done. They're never, right? You could spend an hour replying and then you come back 2 hours later and then people reply to your replies and you're like, no, I had it like down, you know? And so he said you have to be very aware of this like residue from incompleted tasks. And so even with like something like email or something that's not ever totally done, he's like, you set a timer. You say, for me, done today is spending 15 minutes. For me, it's looking at the most important things. For me, it's I have to reply to these 3 and then that is done for me. So sometimes we have to create that. And so having small areas that we fully complete, oh my goodness, your brain is just going to love that like so much. And it's going to create motivation. Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda left. I love that. As you have kids getting older, how are you handling them getting more inventory? Do you set a limit on what they can keep in the bathroom? Yeah. Oh, Miss Adeline she is all into all the things, hair, makeup, skincare. She'll show me things on Sephora. She's like, I know it's like $30. And I'm like, is that really how you want to spend your money? You know? And we've had good talks about like what she sees influencers using versus like what the real, you know, how it might actually work on her skin and hair. So it's been a good like learning process. And yes, I've had to set a limit. So she gets one drawer now in the bathroom. And so that's been working well. And she has a little caddy. It fits into the drawer that she can like pull out and in when she's getting ready. So that has worked really well. But yes, you absolutely have permission to limit what they keep in the bathroom, and then other stuff, overflow stuff, she has to keep in her bedroom. Yeah, what about hairspray? Does it matter when you open? I'm going to have to default to someone who knows about that kind of stuff. So if anybody knows. Michelle, I just found a fizzy bath product with a copyright of 1990. Yeah, into the trash. Awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, Shelly says the body doubling sessions are a game changer. Love it. Got rid of a can of Aquanet this week, Kelly. That's awesome. Let's see. Nebulizer and wires are awkward. Any ideas how to store? Yes, you need some kind of container. It's kind of like putting the toaster in a container to put it away. It just keeps it all together. So it could just even be like a cardboard box from something you've gotten in the mail. But some way to contain it will make it so much easier to pull it in and out and to store it. Yeah, son is 14 and only uses shampoo, toothpaste, and deodorant, right? Isn't that so nice? I know. Okay, most things have a regular, Jesslyn says, most things have a regular shelf life of 3 years, usually, and an open shelf life of 6 to 12 months. Okay, that is super helpful. Thank you. Yeah, how long do you keep makeup products? So that's a good one too. So obviously some things like, you know, eyeshadows, I don't think we have to worry about as much, right? But then more like let's see, I think this is so funny. I think my sister, bless Diana, I got this for my mom too. I would be curious. There's still a lot in it, but man, I would wonder how old this is too. Yeah, this one doesn't have one of those little things on it. We really do. Jesslyn, you are so right. We have to start writing dates on things, right? To give us the data that we need to work with. Oh, Terry says rubbing alcohol does expire, so mark it with a date of purchase because it can burn your skin. What? If it's used past expiration date. Good to know. Laquita says, does anyone have suggestions for sliding rack with 2 shelves to go under a small bathroom cabinet? Yeah, that's a good question. If anyone's had one they have good luck with. I know I always see them on Amazon and I'm always like, oh, how do you know if it's going to be a good one or a good quality that will actually function well? Yeah, how long does nail polish last? That's a great question. I have no idea. I feel like we need to ask Siri some of these questions. It's just toss 6 stretched out ace bandages. Yeah, my husband's been injured a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Dry makeup lasts forever. Wet makeup a couple of years. Mascara 3 months only. Good to know. Okay, that's super helpful. 5 eyeshadow palettes, and I just really don't think she uses them all. So, you know, once you find, oh, that's pretty. Once you find a good neutral palette, you just don't need all the other ones, right? Unless you're fancy. I'm not fancy. Oh, wow, this is so old. Man, Clinique, I think this came with a gift. This was my favorite for the longest time. It's so old though. It had blush, bronzer, and these eyeshadow colors. It was like all the best. Oh, I might have to steal that from my mom. She's not using it. It's like still new. Oh, this makes my heart so happy. I don't know. This was like my go-to. Oh my gosh. Minimalist. See, I don't know. These are pretty. I guess my mom might wear those too, but I just don't feel like we need. These are also all neutrals. So anyway, we'll ask her. So, wow. Isn't it crazy when you find things and it's just like, that's a blast from the past? Like, whew, with memory lane. I can just think of the bathroom where I used to put it on and everything, right? Oh, see, now Jessalyn's going to rain on her parade. Makeup can grow bacteria. I never recommend keeping it more than a year, even if it's dry. Oh, what about 15 years, right? Also, wet stuff I don't recommend keeping more than 3 months, like mascara. Well, I'm still going to use it. I'm not a germ person, but I'll wash my makeup brush and then we'll just see if I get any weird things on my skin. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you're here today, Jessalyn. Oh, there's sites to check manufacturing dates for cosmetics, calculator, and check fresh. That's right. I forgot about that. And you can like put in codes and different things. Oh, that's more work than I'm up for today. Regina says, I used to hold on to this until it's dead thick, but thanks to Dawn's video and Jocelyn's comments on hair products, I've just got rid of quite a few ones between 10 to 15 years old. Wow, Regina, that's awesome. 10 to 15 years, wow. Oh, okay. Yeah, Cindy says, my ADHD brain loves those collections with blush, eyeshadow, and bronzer, right? I'm telling you. No, you don't question anything. You just put them all on and you go about your day. So, found 5 thermometers. Wow. Okay, if it hasn't been used, it's not likely to have bacteria, right? I mean, it's been a long time. Yeah, I'm finding all kinds of things that I keep regularly buying because I couldn't get to those things. Yes, that also happens. Yeah, we're going to save money too. Yeah, I wouldn't keep makeup in a bathroom due to humidity. Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah, Thursday we washed my makeup brushes, so there's your yearly reminder, right? Oh, I don't think Jessalyn would like that if we're only washing them once a year. That's awesome. Yeah, my whole house is humid, so where should I keep it? Please don't throw away old mercury thermometers. Yes. Wow, do people still have mercury thermometers? Yeah, that's bad news bears, right? Okay. All right, well, we will circle back to this with my mom at some point, so that'll be good. Coming up, so we're going to finish out trash bag therapy for this weekend to get our bathroom fully pulled together. I'm so happy that all of this is leaving. That is awesome. May I let go of the makeup my late father gave to me? He passed away in 2006. That's such a great question, Regina. So what I would ask you is it so special that you would put it in your memory box, and hopefully you have a memory box? Or is it kind of like, well, that was cool to come past again while I was doing this, but no, it's not so special. Like if I think of like a legacy list of items from him, that really, I guess maybe even the better question is like, does it bring up good, happy memories? Like, I don't know, for like seeing that little Clinique palette, for whatever reason, it reminds me of my friend Liz, who worked at Clinique too, who like introduced me to better makeup products. And so like, it just really made my heart happy to find that. So do you feel that sense of like, oh, this is so cool, and I like have these happy memories when I look at it? Or is it more of a like, it's literally just because he gave it to me that I'm even like questioning it. If it's more of a like not happy memories, but it is just that he gave it to me, then I would say permission to let those types of things go. And if it's really bringing up happy memories, then it deserves a spot in your memory box. So that would be the best place for it, because we don't want to keep that kind of stuff in the bathroom. Memory stuff we want to know we have safely archived, right? So good question. So in our group, we do live decluttering like that frequently throughout the month, but also daily. I just have short little videos with motivation, tips, things that we're working on. So here are a few of the daily videos that I did also in the bathroom.
Hello, it is so good to see you today. We're gonna attack this drawer. I always like to show that like how much we can actually get done in 5 minutes. So I know you're short on time and energy and like desire, motivation, whatever, but if we will work together during these daily videos, we can get stuff done, and we always feel better afterwards too, right? You know, when it comes to just something like this, I think it is okay just to pull everything out. You know, a lot of times we don't want to like make a big mess or a project that then we're going to get pulled away from, but I'm committed to finishing it. I couldn't really find any good organizing containers that I thought would fit well, so we're going to test these out, and then we'll see what the categories are, and if I have to get some different containers, then I guess so be it. So what I'm gonna do is just pull everything out quick and sort it into categories really fast. This is funny because I'm like, I'm going to show you how much I can get done in 5 minutes. Do you want to see the gigantic mess I made in 5 minutes? All right, I got the drawer all cleaned out. I'm going to wipe it out quick, and then I have some contact paper. I think we'll just put that down just to make it feel a little cleaner and nicer. So I'm going to put that down real quick, and then I don't know. What will we do? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we got the drawer cleaned out, shelf liner in, and so because I'm still just feeling not super clear on everything that should live in here, I'm just gonna do the like favorites first approach. Like I'm just gonna put in the things that I think should live in here, or like highest priority for having this prime real estate, and then we'll just see what fits, and then I'll, from there we'll decide what needs to go out here. And I forgot to take a before picture. Okay, so these containers are not ideal, but they helped to work while I just kind of categorize. So this is the stuff that we're gonna have live in here. Let me show you the stuff we're not. So all of this stuff is gonna go out. And then this was some travel stuff that got put in there. I don't know why. It's not perfect, but it is so much better than it was before. And it might have taken like 10 or 15 minutes. So a little more than 5 minutes, but totally worth it if you ask me. All right, well, we are continuing our bag a day challenge. I'm looking forward to seeing your bag for today. I'm gonna get this stuff bagged up and get it out of here. I love you. I hope you have a really good day. We'll be live again Friday morning at 9, working together. We'll fill another bag together, but I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Hello, it's so good to see you today. All right, we're gonna talk about the 1 year rule because I think it's super important in the bathroom. So all about the 1 year cutoff deadline. And Jesslyn, who is a hairstylist, shared some like really good information I wanna share with you too. So remember, this week is all about
trash bag therapy. So that is our weekly challenge. And if you post a completed trash bag full of stuff, then you're entered to win. That's an entry for one of our weekend prizes. And you can do equivalents like 2 white 13-gallon trash bags, 4 smaller shopping bags, a box of donations. We just want stuff moving out, right? So post your pictures, and then let's talk a little bit about hair products, skincare products, makeup products, all the things we spend a lot of money on, and we never know if it's actually gonna work like they say it's gonna work or not, right? Even this, what I'm seeing, this was sold to me by an influencer who I thought I had the same hair as me and was gonna make me look so beautiful and have so much volume in my hair, and it never worked, and so then I gave it to my mom. And man, this has to be at least 5 years old. Okay, let's see what Jessalyn has to say about that. Okay, so these are 2 really good questions she's gonna answer for us. 1, when should I keep trying a product, and when should I decide it doesn't work for my hair? And then 2, it doesn't matter if it's expired or not. So she says these 2 go hand in hand, and then also connect to the 3rd question. Ooh, there's a 3rd question too. Okay, good, we'll get to that. So this is such a good tip. When you first get a product, write on it with a Sharpie the day you open it. You may think you'll remember, but I bet you won't. It's so much easier if you can look at the date you opened it, not bought it, to help keep things up to date. The likelihood of a hair, skin, or makeup product hurting you from being expired is slim to none. However, the active ingredient in the product that makes the product do what it's supposed to do most likely doesn't work anymore, and so you're likely not going to get the same results as a new product. This can vary a lot depending on where you bought your product. Certain stores and certain lines have a specific criteria they have to abide by. So stores like Walmart, Target, Amazon, etc. do not have to have a high standard of active ingredients or heat limitations that can make products go bad. In their major warehouses, places like Ulta, Sephora, hair salons buy from brand carriers that, because they are classified as professional products, they have higher specifications they have to keep per the actual producers of that line of products. Isn't that interesting? Some middle ground places like Sally's or certain franchise salons, where some are on the professional side and some are not. So it can definitely be tricky. It does seem counterintuitive to buy a product that's more expensive, but its likelihood to be the actual product it's advertising and have active ingredients that make it do what it says is almost 100% versus buying at Ross, TJ Maxx, Walmart, etc. because they don't have to abide by the professional standards. It's so unfortunate and feels icky and dishonest, I know. Lots of times those products are totally fine and great steals. Most of the time they're expired, watered down, or part of a batch that wasn't good enough for professional use. What? And that's why they can be sold for less. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm so frugal, so if it sounds like I'm saying just spend your money on all expensive things, I'm most definitely not. Minimalism will totally save you here. Let me explain. This is a connection between expired products, how to buy what, and how to keep it decluttered. What I recommend is to only buy one thing and use it with your regular regimen at least 3 to 5 times. That's good advice. If after the first time, or even before you use it, it's not working like you thought, you can look up the brand and the product. Almost every brand and product has a how-to video via YouTube, Instagram, or their website. So make sure you're actually applying it the right way at the right time. Then, if it doesn't work after those couple times, throw it away and look into an alternative before you buy something else. A major mistake people make is trying too many new products at one time. Yeah, there's no way to know what's actually working. So do one at a time with your regular regimen. Most often with my clients, I start them with finding the right shampoo and conditioner, get a good foundation, and then go next to a root boost, then a heat protectant, etc. Oh, that's a good. See, we should be doing a live with her so we can be like fully picking her brain. Now, expense-wise, because often the products not sold professionally are not as good quality, inactive ingredients, watered down, expired, etc., they don't work or last as well, so you end up buying them more and more often. So buying one root boost for $21 that lasts a year ends up being less expensive than trying 3 different $5 to $10 ones every month. Yeah, that makes sense. So similar to how you use dollar store organization first and then invest where you know it's working. Almost everyone will use shampoo and conditioner or something to clean their hair, so that's a safe place to start. Then look for what your hair needs, help with frizz, curl, volume, heat protectant, repair, tangles, breakage, etc., and build up from there. And you've said it a million times, the magic is in the motion, not the potion. It doesn't make a difference to have better products for sure. Can I still make it work without? Yes, because you've got to practice and work at it. Not the answer we want because there's no magic button, but it's the truth. Lastly, all that being said, if you have a product you love and works for you, use it, professional or not. As long as it's working for you, do what works. This is all for what's not working and how to make it work.
So, okay, she has more tips then for decluttering. I'm gonna stop there for today. And so I think this is so helpful. So like this product, I tried it a number of different times, like, cause then I thought maybe I put too much in and it's weighing down my hair instead of giving it volume and all of that, and still never had success for it. Not like the person on Instagram raved about it. And this was not cheap, but I did also buy it from Amazon and not actually from the salon. So that could have made a difference too. So today, permission. If you have products that are not working for you, today either commit to trying them out, testing them out over the next couple of weeks so you know for sure, or just let it go. Totally fine to do that. If you need to take the path of least resistance right now and just toss it in your black trash bag and move on, you have permission to do that. All right, well, I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again on Friday. All right, so that was really fun. We got a lot done in the bathroom. Now we're gonna move to the kitchen. I specifically want to tackle this cabinet. It kind of represents a lot of categories of stuff that we have in our kitchen, so I'm excited to go through it. We have appliances that are not being used that were really like highly acclaimed in our family for a while. Total lack of organization, things that have multiplied that need to be gone through. My mom has her recipes down here. We were just talking about that before she headed out. What to do with recipes. So we have a lot of good stuff to cover here today. I think it's going to be really helpful things to talk through. And then I also want to share 6 ways that I do believe that if you get your kitchen fully decluttered and simplified, not like a little bit, but like all the way, how you are going to make your money back so fast in the kitchen, and other benefits too. I like to sometimes just like pick one side and work our way across. All right. So my mom has done this for years since she saw Cass talk about it. Like, put your toaster in a bin because then the crumbs stay in, the cord stays in. It's great. The only thing that's less than ideal is that there's not like a shelf for it, so it just sits on top of the deep fryer thing. So this, we keep this. The kids were literally just using it. I'm like, I have to go live. Like, so that's we're gonna keep. So that's a no-brainer. I am seeing this down here, which I think was an attempt at adding some more organization. We're going to set this aside for now. I don't know if we're going to actually need that. Here are some Christmas treat bags. This kind of stuff I actually like to keep with the Christmas stuff. We just brought all my mom's Christmas totes downstairs. They're easy to get to. So this I want to go in there. Keep it in here. No one's ever going to remember that it's there. And then this is no good. The recipes that just kind of get tossed down. So let's make a pile of those because I don't know. There's more. Like we got this one and these ones. Now, sometimes we caution against like pulling everything out, but when it's one defined space like this, I think we can do that and it's going to be okay. So I'm going to pull stuff out, but what I'm doing is categorizing. And obviously, if I come across any obvious donations or trash, like it's gone, like it's going into my donation box or my black trash bag. So these we're going to categorize up here. Do you know what I forgot to do? I have to take a before picture. What are we doing? All right. It already looks a little bit neater now. All right, got my before picture. Good. Okay. Now, random Ziploc bag. Oh no. There's a bug in it. That's going to go in the garbage. Okay. Otherwise, we would reuse it. But okay. Bundt cake pan just kind of tossed in there. So that's good data that this needs a spot to live, which this I will prioritize all day long, right? Making a spot for that. All right. What else is back here? Ugh. Rolling pin. I don't think that ever gets used. First aid kit, good, but I don't think this is the first place you would look. Like if we use Dana's question, like where would I look for it? Back in the cabinet under a bunch of stuff? Probably not. So this we will keep, but we are gonna rehome that. And then we have more treat bags. Here are the little things that go with them. Okay. I'm just gonna throw these away. We just got more of these like the clear cellophane ones. They're kind of all yucky. So that I'm gonna put into my black trash bag. Okay, good.
Okay, what else? And a little more. That can go in there too. Okay, so we have page protectors, which I imagine are for the recipe things, and then, but they're all crummy from the toaster being down there. And then we have a whole new box of sheet protectors that has, how many are even in here? Oh, there's 100 in here. So I'm not gonna try and clean these and keep these, and a lot of them are kind of bent up. So that I'm just gonna part with and let that go. Why don't we move? It's quite remarkable. Even with the toaster being in that bin, there are still a ton of crumbs down here. It just happens. So this is a deep fryer thing. My parents used to use it, or we'd have nights where we'd come over and, fry daddy or deep fry stuff. But now that they have an air fryer, which is much like a healthier, easier, more convenient. I mean, these are a pain in the butt, right? The little deep fryer things, because then you have to deal with the old oil and and they splatter, and you got to have the heat just right. So that actually does not get used anymore now that they have the air fryer. So this, I think we could part with. I would obviously talk to my mom about it. And sometimes there's been some other appliances that we will move down to the basement to time test and create a little separation before we take the plunge. If there's someone else in the household that's kind of attached to it. So I can talk with her about it. We might do that. That can be a good intermediary step. But regardless, this is pretty prime real estate here. So we got the stove here, the sink here. It would be really nice if this space just functioned really well. Okay, wow, we have a lot more little treat bags and stuff. So these ones, well, those are cute. And they're still packaged, they're good. So these we'll put with the Christmas stuff. And then these ones are just kind of all messy and gross. So I'm gonna throw these ones away. I was just asking myself, do I have time, energy, capacity right now to clean up and organize and straighten and take care of this? Or should I just put it in my black trash bag and be done? We don't like being wasteful, but also we are limited by time and energy. And this kind of stuff would keep me from making more progress and getting this cabinet fully done here today. So that's where today, with the amount of time, energy, everything we have, I'm choosing to throw this stuff away. But that line is different for everyone, but just please be so realistic about how much time and energy you have right now, and if we can actually keep and resurrect this stuff, or if we just simply need to let it go. Oh, well, this sounds like a fun recipe. Air fryer Chex Mix. My mom makes one that has to go in the oven, but that would be kind of fun. Oh, pumpkin seeds. What? Interesting. All right, we're just going to put that up there. We're not dealing with those right now. Here is the cord for the deep fryer. And then one more grody bag. We're going to let that one go. Okay. Now we have some cookbooks. These I know are not getting used. I got them for my mom. We're going to let that go. All right, so we have some recipe books, more recipes. So again, we're just putting this all together right now, and it's often helpful just to see everything together. This was a decorative cutting board, and it was a gift, but it's small and it's just been down here. So I'm gonna ask my mom about letting that go. For a while they had it displayed. This is her big recipe book. So she said she made this, oh no, 15 years ago, and started curating recipes in here. And she has also said we need to go through it because so many of them do not get used. And so the ones that do, she knows, and they have notes on them and all that. So we would obviously keep those, but this, she admitted, can be pared way down. And then there's also this one. I don't know what the difference is. But we have all those recipes too. And look, fun. More of these. Now, chocolate nut clusters, peanut clusters, sausage, egg, and biscuit breakfast casserole. All right, well, I'll let her decide if we want to keep any of those or not, and if we should go through the work. Another little trivet thing, I'm going to ask her about that, if we actually need it. This is a cutting board that gets used. So I'm just gonna move some of this out of the way though, so we can get everything that's still in the back out of here. More recipes. Oh man, I don't know. Oster, this is, oh, I bet this is a hand mixer, right? Yeah, that's kind of nice that it's all contained in there. Okay, that's something we'll want to keep and make a spot for. So I'm gonna put that up by the toaster. And then let's get the rest of these recipe books pulled out. Wow. Rumford Complete Cookbook? I don't know. That kind of looks like it might have been Sentimental. Multi-meal family recipes. What's this one? Oh, Czech cuisine. Little known fact, I'm actually 50% Czech. My dad is 100%. And so look at that. But this I think is more of a memory item. So if we're coming across recipe books or that kind of stuff, really ask yourself, like, is this so special that I would put in my memory box? Because look, this is, or I mean, if you have a shelf or a place you like display it, or would have it in your kitchen, that's a place of honor. But this, like, these are getting ruined down there. If anything happened or we got water or a pest, like, these would be totally ruined. So that doesn't feel good, right? So I'm gonna ask my mom if we want to put these in with like a memory box. She has all that stuff upstairs, and then we have Betty Crocker's cookbook. I just can't imagine this is getting used. So again, I would ask her if we have any sentimental attachment to that, or if we could let it go. She has been so good about letting stuff go and being really realistic now about how much time and energy and bandwidth we have. Yes, Judy says Czech cooking, right? I grew up with bermachka, dumplings, kolachkis. My grandma would make them, and my grandpa called us the yuck yuck girls, because my sister and I would never want to try it, or we'd be like, ew, everything had onions in it. And if you say like, oh, here's some bermachka, do you want to try it? I think most kids, when you're like 6, like, would be like, ew, gross, no, right? So, but now, I mean, I would give anything to go back and try it and have it and have that time with them. Okay, now here we have a bin of more Christmas, like, goodie bags, tinfoil, that kind of stuff. So again, that can go with the Christmas stuff. I might need your guys' help. What is this? Is it for, spritzes? So this I'm going to ask my mom about if we want to keep, and then there's just some tinfoil, whatever. I'm going to throw that stuff away. So I just have this little pile right here of stuff I'm going to ask my mom about. So I'm just going to put this stuff, this will be my container for Ask Mom. And then we'll ask her about that. And then, see, here we go. Pampered Chef, what do we have here? Is this an apple peeler? Yep, apple peeler. My mom has never used this, ever. Like, my mom loves to make like apple crisp and stuff in the fall. She's never used this. I think my beef with a lot of Pampered Chef stuff is that often it takes as long to either set it up, figure out how to use it, and clean it up as just to like peel apples by yourself. Now, if you make 82 apple pies a year and whatever, like, maybe you have something like this, or it goes on your KitchenAid or whatever, great, keep it. If it is at the bottom of the back of a cabinet and you just bought it because you went to a Pampered Chef party and you're like, what should I buy? I have to buy something from it, and you never use it, can we please part with this stuff? Which actually, I mean, I'm going to put it on the pile to ask my mom because I'm being respectful. But anyways, but that actually brings me to point number 1 of the benefits of having a highly simplified kitchen. So one, this is what I found for myself, and I hear from others all the time. When your kitchen is streamlined and it is set up for your current season of life and cooking, you eat out less. Because you're cooking at home more, because you don't actually mind cooking as much. So when we're talking about making back your money, like, I don't know, like, let's play The Price is Right. What would this have even cost? I have no idea. But let's say $35, right? Well, if I eat out one time with our full family now, even if we go to McDonald's, good night, it is like a minimum of $25, right? But if you go to an actual restaurant, $35, easy. If you eat out twice at fast food, $35, easy. But once our kitchen was highly simplified and everything in there was just for our season of life, our current season, this is not for anyone's current season of life that lives in this house right now, right? we ate out so much less because I didn't mind cooking. We also had way less wasted food. Like I could finally stay on top of what was in the fridge and in the pantry, the freezer, the deep freeze, right? You could work through eating that stuff and you didn't forget about things and things didn't expire and go bad. I've also said this before. Tom had made this observation that when the kitchen is clean, it feels like life is under control. We don't impulse buy as much. We don't buy as much to just feel better. It has been remarkable to me how we have gotten our grocery budget in check and how that feeling of like our house being under control then lends itself to other areas of well. Also, once your house is or your kitchen is streamlined, you don't mind cleaning it as much. So you keep your kitchen cleaner and then the rest of the house stays cleaner as well. I mean, you know that, right? Like when the kitchen is clean, it's kind of like, oh, well, let's tidy up the living room and the entryway and other spaces too. So I'm telling you, I often recommend to people that they start with their kitchen, and these are the reasons why. Now, kitchens can be a little tricky because of things like this and appliances and things we've spent money on, but I just really want to encourage you that I do believe you will make this money back. So, I mean, I don't even know what did this like deep fryer cost, you know? You will make that money back in a month, 2 months, like so easily. Let me look. I want to look at the comments and see if anybody knew how much that actually costs. No, Christina, I don't want to, Kirsten, I don't want to hear about how it's an underestimated gadget. No, no, we're not doing that. So, but again, that's the thing. Like, I'm joking, by the way. Have it, love it, use it. That deserves a place in your kitchen. Like, that is serving you in this season of life that you're in. If you have it, don't use it, it's taking up valuable real estate. That is the definition of clutter, right? So maybe for Kirsten, she's like, love it, whatever. New apple peeler, $93. You don't say. This might be worth just throwing on the old marketplace. Wow. Okay. How about the how I'm trying to look at what brand it is. Oster deep fryer here. No, actually, I don't even want to know what it's new. I want to know what people are getting for them on marketplace right now because that's actually the real data that we want to be working with right now. Because again, $93 new, that's what's going through our head, right? When we're trying to declutter. It's like, I paid $93 for that. But what we really have to ask is, okay, what is it? What is its fair market value today? And if we go on marketplace, like what is that actually worth? Because that's going to give us much better data to work with. I'm just going to pull up marketplace real quick. Was it just the apple peeler? Yeah, apple peeler core slicer. Oh wow, it just really does it all. Okay, here we go. Right here. No, what? It is like literally the exact same one. The box is underneath it. $10. That's all it's worth right now. So that's the better data to be working with when I come across something like this or your bread maker or your instant pot. It's not what you paid for it. It's what is it even worth today? $10, that is not worth real estate in here. And you know what else it's not worth? It's not worth me looking at this and feeling guilty every time I see it. Like, oh, I went to that Pampered Chef party. I got sold this thing. I got talked into buying the gadget. Again, not getting down on Pampered Chef, like just talking in general. Influencers are horrible at this now, getting us to buy things, right? But this $10, no, and not feeling guilty every time I look at it and thinking, I should be using it. I should learn how to use it, right? The learning curve that a lot of these things take. Now, here's what I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna move on. But if you're like, could not get rid of that, Dawn, I'm so sorry. I want to be there with you, but there are these appliances and these things. Then what you need to do is you need to put it out and you need to commit to using it this week. This week, go to the store. I know it's not like apple season right now. Go buy a bag of apples. Say, I'm going to learn how to use it. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to see if it works for us, if it's as great as everyone is saying, right? And commit to using it this week. I love the Rambling Redhead. When air fryers first came out, she said, here's what I do when I get new appliances. She's like, I commit to using it every day for a week. And so it was great. On her Instagram story, she showed using the air fryer every day for a week. Because if we get something new, we have to use it right away. Otherwise, we do that thing where it sits in the box, it sits in the back of the cabinet, it gets shuffled around because that learning curve is a for real thing to, getting these things into our home and actually incorporating them and using them and figuring out Are they actually great or not? Okay, so we're making good progress. I'm seeing it's hard because there's like 2 layers deep of stuff. I also really want to vacuum this out, but I don't want it to be loud. Hey, Corbin, would you go get the vacuum for me, buddy? Or Gage, who's in the living room? Would you go get the vacuum for me and the like little short attachment that goes on it? All right, again, a little cutting board, but they have other cutting boards here. I don't think this is like I believe it was a gift, but I think it's pretty used now, and so I'm gonna put that on the ask mom pile. And then I'm gonna sort out into categories. So we have like some trays here, cutting boards, and then pans. So I want to sort them into categories so I can go through these with her when she comes back. And again, when we are going through other people's stuff, Betty, oh, thank you. When we are going through other people's stuff, one of the best things we can do is to just break it into categories. We had Sheena in our membership group recently, and she's like, my husband's clothes in the closet are driving me nuts. He has so many, he doesn't want to part with them. And she just said, like, she was sure to approach it when she was like, could be in a good mood about it, and just said, hey, like, could I help you with this? And so she started paring it down, keeping all the stuff. He loved it. Like, she was like, kind of like, I don't think he's going to go for it. But she just like started simplifying stuff, pulling some stuff out, let him see what it felt like to have it feel better. And so, like, if we can get all the extra stuff out of here, get this, pared down, functioning well, and then we have some stuff off to the side, then it's kind of like, this feels so good. Do we really want to put all this stuff back in there that we're not using? But they get to make those decisions, and then they might say, like, no, I'm keeping this, but the other stuff can go. And like Cass talks about, we're still net positive, right? Like, bummer that this has to stay still, right? But I'm like, I'm coming after you in another pass, right? Like, I know it's just a matter of time. So that's how we can work with people. Or time will tell bins. Throw it in a box, label it, let yourself collect some more data, and that can be a helpful tool as well. Okay, we got another one. All right. I might have to pull some more stuff out before I get to I really want to get that out of the back. Okay, cutting boards. This is like the watermelon cutting board. So I'm going to put all the cutting boards together so we have good data to work with. All right, and then these are all pans that I want to put together as well. Oh, goodness. Okay. Wow. Pan. Well, that's going well, huh? Oh, awesome. All right. Ooh. What's in I'm curious why this is in a bag. There's probably a good reason. Oh, it's another one with another one with the name and everything on it. Yeah, okay. Well, that's gonna go on the pile too. Again, if we're like, I don't even know what's in there, right? It has been time tested. You never went looking for it. You don't care. So that is good data. You don't need it. Let it go, right? Let it go. Okay, and then we have some placemats. I don't think this is the best place. I wonder what those get used for. All right, I'll ask my mom about those. I'll put those with the trays. All right, roasting pan. There's actually not as many pans down here, so we're actually doing pretty good on the pan front. All right, so then we had this other one back here. Wait, though. I thought there was what? I thought there was a organizer here for all these pans. Were they literally just, well, yeah, that's why they just dominoed, right? There was no thing holding them. I thought we had a thing holding them. Okay, well, we have a thing to hold them. This one's fine. I sometimes like something just a little heavier, but at least for today, that's fine. Okay, so the last thing we have in here are these are the baking cooling racks. That's what they're called. And my mom does use these, so, but we'll just put them up here. Actually, like we're doing pretty good. I think we have a good number of pans and cutting boards and stuff. I think those trays can go out of here. I'm gonna ask my mom about this stuff. So, and then the cooling racks. All right, so now we just have some garbage. All right. Gross. Okay, cool. All right. All right. We're doing pretty good. Okay. I do want to switch gears to questions in a few minutes. I really want to vacuum this out. I'm not sure if you can, it's not horrible, but it's just, crummy and everything. So I just want to real quick vacuum this out, put the rack in with what I think should go back, and then we'll make a pile of stuff to go through with my mom. Yeah, I'm not going to put the recipe books back right now. We need like a shelf down there for the toaster to go on, but I don't know. I'm going to do a quick look. Okay. And then we'll put this back together and then I'll switch gears to answering questions. I think we're to a point now where we can at least try just putting back what I think would work well down here. So I'm prioritizing like the things that actually get used. And also I want it to be like easy to get stuff in and out. This has not been easy at all, right? To get stuff in and out of. And we might use both of these racks here just because I really want it to feel easy. And we can just try it out and then see how it goes. So put both of these here. Pizza. That just feels so nice because you can just like really easily, how you just like kind of put up with things, not really thinking about it, like how hard it was actually to jockey everything around to get things in and out of. And then we have the cooling racks, which I think they'll all fit on this one. Oh, baby, we are winning. Yes, I love that. Okay. I'm not even like big into organizing, but this makes my heart so happy because it like feels good. It functions well. There's breathing room, right? Never underestimate the breathing room. And then the toaster we can put right here for now. And then the only other things as I'm looking around here, we still got to figure out the recipe book situation, but my mom and I, like, we're going to work on paring that down. And then we just have, these are the only other two things that I see as a priority to fit down here. So I'm just going to put those back here for right now. I do want to get some kind of shelf or like have Corbin and my dad make something there. I think ideally it would be nice if the toaster sat like right here to pull in and out. But for now, that's fine. And then let me show you here everything I think that we're taking out of here, and then we'll answer questions. Because again, none of this stuff was serving us in any way down here. This is all the inventory that's leaving so that we can have that. But again, do you see how I think it's easier to make my case right now? Like, and again, my mom is very reasonable and I'm not worried about that at all. But to be like, hey, if we move out all this stuff that we were not using at all, look at this beautiful cabinet we can have, because this stuff is high use. Like, my dad loves to cook and my mom cooks too. Everybody cooks, like, they cook at home a lot, right? These things are high use. The toaster gets used a lot. And so to have that be easy to get the cutting boards and the pans and everything, and what all it means is moving out stuff that you're not actually using, like, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? So to be able to let others see that, experience it, I know it's always tricky when we're, working with other people's stuff, but there are tactful ways, I believe, that we can go about it. So that feels really good, and I'm really excited about it. And it didn't even take that long, did it? I mean, think how fast I could have done it if I wasn't visiting with you during it. All right. Awesome. I am so happy about this right now. Right. So the 6 benefits. Let's just real quick, for those of you who are like, you can't leave us hanging. Number 5 is that, okay, so again, 1, eat out less. So you're saving money right there by cooking at home more. Less wasted food, because food is not going bad in your fridge, pantry, and freezer. When your kitchen is clean, it feels like life is under control, and that is going to transcend to every area of your life, feeling more peace and more in control of things.
The rest of the house stays cleaner. You can find the things. You're not buying duplicates. Number 5, your your family can help now. Again, in the past, it was hard for me to involve the kids in the kitchen because it's just inevitable that like it's going to take longer. They don't always know where things go. But as things got highly simplified, it was so clear and obvious where things go and what their home was. It was so easy to like for them to unload the dishwasher and to help clean up and with the dishes, and also for them, for your kids to cook and other family members to cook too. Because again, kids make a big mess when they are learning how to cook. And so that is just enough of a deterrent. Or if your kitchen's already a mess, to be like, oh, could I bring the kids in to make an even bigger mess? But it has been so fun seeing our kids learn to cook. The confidence that it builds in them, like you want your kids to be more confident, let them cook. Like it is remarkable. And then we would often like bring things over to my parents, and then my mom and dad are like, what? Like you cooked this? This is so awesome. It was so good for their confidence and their self-esteem. And I don't feel so martyred when other people in the house are helping out with the cooking and cleaning too, right? It is win, 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 but we need it to be highly simplified and streamlined and working really well and easy to get things in and out of to involve them and to want to continue to involve them. Okay, good question, Andrea. What is data I need to collect when I put it in a time will tell bin? What questions am I supposed to ask myself? So again, we only want to put stuff in a time will tell bin if we're like really torn about should I keep it or not. So what I like about the time will tell bin is we don't want to get hung up on any individual decision right now and have it stall our progress. So if you can have a time will tell bin next to you, you just like the apple peeler, you just throw it in there. Make sure you put a date on the time will tell bin when the stuff went into it, so that then you know in no more than 3 months, when you go back to revisit it, you know, like, okay, that went in on January 18th and now it's the end of March. I didn't need anything else. And you're going to find that just creating that separation. So you put stuff in a time will tell bin, you go pack it away somewhere, basement, attic, garage. And what you're going to find is like, creating that separation makes it a much easier decision. And also in the meantime, you're test driving your like highly simplified kitchen. And you like this so much more than that dumb apple peeler, that when it comes time then to go back and revisit the time will tell bin, you're like, no, there's no way you're coming back into my kitchen, right? So it makes it a lot easier. My platters are minimal, but stacked on top of each other so they chip when I take one out. Is there a better solution? Yeah, I think there's a lot of actually good organizing solutions out there. I would just look on Amazon. Amazon has a lot of good kitchen organizing products now, and the reviews are so helpful. I have my grandmother's hand-painted cups, saucers, and silver in an untouched, unneeded shelf. Some vintage pictures too. They look like they are very valuable. So the best thing you can do is go on eBay. If you think it's like real valuable, pretty much in every metro area, there are people that will give values. You just have to do a Google search. I don't even know what they're called. So if y'all can help out with that. So you're going to need to do a little bit of research, but it's really never been easier. You can also take a picture and use the Google search feature, picture search feature, and it'll search the internet for similar items too. Can you please talk about identity clutter in the kitchen? Yeah, I have so many items my mother-in-law has got me generously but never used. I am not an amazing cook like her. And that is totally fine. You don't need to take on your mother-in-law's identity. And like, so cool of her. But if you have baking stuff or fancy cooking stuff or whatever, you could put it in a time will tell bin, or you could just be real realistic, look at the data, say it has been time tested in my kitchen, in my cabinets. I'm not using it. And that is totally fine. It's also hard when you used to do those things. Like for others, you used to bake a lot and you used to do the apple peeling and make the pies and all that, and you're not. That is a thing to grieve. Like, I am not going to lie. And our group can be a great place to process those things. Like, this sucks. Like, this used to be what I loved and looked forward to and did, and I can't anymore. That sucks. And that is hard. And I'm really sorry about that. So I'm glad you brought up the identity clutter in the kitchen, because that is, yes, definitely a for real thing. I have 3 dogs, a cat, a 4-year-old, and a fiance. There is hair and dirt everywhere. How do I fight the urge to clean when I am decluttering? It never feels done when it's not clean. So, Sarah, you do you when it comes to that. But again, what you're going to find is that as you get this highly simplified, it's going to be so much easier to clean your kitchen, and you're going to love it so much. Tackling a big space, start with trash, but what is your advice after that? So easy to get overwhelmed. Floors. So floors first and then flat surfaces. Our brains do not like things on the floor. And I would really encourage you, if in your kitchen you have been in the habit of like having stuff sitting out on the floor, like maybe you just have cases of water, or it's like overflow from when you bulk shop, or even different like garbage cans and pet things and all that, like really question each thing if there's any way you could get it up off the floor and somewhere else. How do you get past the feeling of wanting to get rid of everything and be in an empty house? My life is in a very difficult stage right now, and the clutter feels larger than it actually is. Joy, permission. I have gone so much further this last like year or two because I'm so over all of it. And I'm like, if you are not benefiting me, you are dead to me. You are clutter. You are costing me. And so I totally understand, especially if you're in a difficult season right now. I'm so sorry. Anybody in a really hard season right now. I did a video on Tuesday too, talking about how like sadness, anxiety, overwhelm cannot exist with motivation. And so what do we have to do? We have to just streamline our homes and our lives so that we have the space to be in hard seasons, and all that requires of grieving and learning new things and navigating new things and dealing with difficult family members and having to coordinate with them about care for your aging parents and all, it takes so much bandwidth, and we don't do it justice. Like, we don't understand that what you can control right now is your house and getting stuff moved out of it. A lot of this you can't control, right? And so you can control your house and your space. So if you are there and you're like, I just want it all gone, go. Permission. Let it all go. You're not going to miss it. And you're going to go on stupid marketplace and pay $10 for a replacement. If you're like, oh, I got through this like crazy season and now I want to peel apples. Great. $10 on marketplace. Like, we can replace anything these days, but we don't. Like, we don't end up doing that, right? All right, lots of questions about like where to put my grain mill, where to put potatoes and onions, where to put, so you really have to look at your kitchen and how it functions. Where's the most logical spot for it? Is there already something else there? Even like my mom in her cabinet that has her like plates and bowls and stuff, on the upper shelf was like a full shelf of vases. Like, and she loves having flowers, fresh flowers and vases, but more so in the summer, right? But it's very valuable real estate. And for a while that worked, but now we're like, oh, there's not a place for like these bigger bowls she got and some water bottles, extra travel mugs. Instead of having the travel mugs in the pantry, it'd actually be nice if they were there. What if we swapped, put the vases in the pantry, put the travel mugs there, right? And so it's looking at your kitchen really objectively. And I think Cass talked about this recently when she was at someone else's house, but really objectively looking at it and what makes the most logical sense. Shauna says, I know you guys get a lot of flack for throwing things away, but that is a game changer for my cluttered life. Thank you. Yeah, Shauna, I'm actually trying to be less apologetic about that, because the clutter is not more important than you, right? Like, the clutter is not more important than you. The physical stuff is not more important than you and your peace of mind. And we get like, similar to how we people please, we stuff please. We're like, it has to go to the perfect spot, and I have to do this, and I have to save the planet and all this. You getting rid of 3 trash bags of stuff from your house this weekend is going to make no difference in the planet and our grandkids and climate change and all of that. Like, you aren't that powerful. Like, you're not going to save it. Now, I know everybody collectively all together, I don't care. We have to get back on top. Like, I'm more worried about everyone suffering from anxiety and overwhelm and stress right now than global warming. Because how about this? What if we all get back on top of our lives, and then we can actually do something really good to change the world and help people and all of that, right? So a few trash bags of stuff versus like what we're going to be able to do when we have our bandwidth back and our peace of mind back. I mean, my goodness, it's not even the same ballpark. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. And permission today. It's like free pass day. Throw it all in a black trash bag and move on. Like, if this were my stuff and not my mom's, it gone, dead. No way, right? And it's fine. And I know, like I said, she's gonna be very reasonable about it too, so I'm not even worried about that. So she's awesome. And she's super cool. You're doing awesome work. I'm so proud of you. And I also know many are in like just hard crap seasons right now. And so just do what you can do today, but permission to let it go, to rage purge, to do whatever you have to do to get it out, because you are more important than this dumb stuff. We didn't go into fridges and that kind of stuff in that session, but my parents just got a new fridge, which is really fun. But something I'm learning is to make sure that you're putting the stuff that needs to get used up front and center, like wherever the most obvious place is. Like if you have things that need to get used, they stay front and center. Other things like the coffee creamer or the sour cream, the lemon juice, the syrup, like people will go hunting for those things. Eggs, we never have to worry about using up eggs. Like we always get them used up in time. So those can be more on the peripheral, in the doors, on the sides, in the back. But anything that you worry about going bad, it has to be front and center. And then similarly, produce. This has kind of nice produce drawers that are pretty visible, so this has been working pretty well. But if your fridge is not set up like that, or they're at the bottom, that is the worst. Then you might want to get like a clear acrylic container and keep those more front and center. So just make sure when you walk up to your fridge, whatever is in the most visual area, that's where you put the stuff that has to get used up first. I'll even often like go to our fridge and rearrange it. You know, sometimes stuff gets pushed to the back or leftovers do, and I'll be like, nope, like pull it back to the front, keep it front and center, right in the middle there where everyone sees it. And then the other stuff that doesn't go bad so fast, that you'll go hunting for, leave that on the outer rim. So that has been really helpful. And also just keeping really low fridge inventory. You know, we don't remember things the same that we used to, right? So you have to be able to see it. Otherwise it is going to get forgotten about and go bad. And that is the worst, right? That does not feel good at all. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. I was hoping you could make it this morning. It is so good to see you. Awesome. Well, we're going to work together in the kitchen. We're going to do some guided decluttering. If that's where you want to work, awesome. If not, if you're like, ooh, I need to do this, or I'm going to work over there, you just work where you need to be working today. But we are going to kind of specifically talk about getting our kitchen streamlined. Right, horses are fed. Awesome. Like you're ready to go. We can declutter the kitchen now. That's awesome. Hello, it is really good to see you today. How are you? I would love to know. I'm really loving us learning this word and like allowing, you can come up, you're fine. My brother is so kind, he's sneaking around, but he got his coffee, right? So at least that's covered. I love that we're learning to use the word and so on Tuesday I shared a clip from our grief study, and we can link back to that video if you didn't see Tuesday's daily videos.
I think affirmations, we have to concretize them, meaning make something concrete out of them, and then use the word and. So the example would be, I'm stupid, and then I would think of a concrete example. I left early to get here on time today. And I was really smart by getting here on time today. Or I feel so unloved. And my friends tell me I'm quite lovable. Don't deny it. Add the word and. Give yourself a concrete example and then use the affirmation. But it is never positive thinking, especially in grief work, to deny our feelings. Your feelings have a right to exist, just because they are. Many times I see people in grief going, I got to get rid of these feelings. They have a right to live. Jealousy has a right to live in grief. Hate has a right to live. Anger has a right to live. I'm not saying be angry at anyone or hate anyone, but I'm saying if you feel that feeling coming up, that you hate something, you hate whatever it is, people who have family members that they all live till they're 100 years old and no one ever dies, if that's your feeling, acknowledging it and working with it will help. Denying your reality and pouring pink paint and go, oh no, I don't hate, I'm just fuming, does not help. So we want to make sure we don't use positive thinking as a way to push down reality. We have to try to be honest with who we are and what we're feeling, and we have power over the story that comes after.
Isn't that so good? I actually wanted to leave the part in there about feelings too, because I know we get hard on ourselves about our feelings, but using the word and, my mom and I talked about this today because she's like,
I'm not motivated. It feels like everything takes so much energy and so much effort. And she's like, and I can set the timer for 5 minutes and work on something. And so whether it's something you are speaking into the future or celebrating that you did, I didn't get my decluttering done that I wanted to today, and I did make dinner and clean up the kitchen. And so where can we start using the word and allowing two things to exist? I wasted the morning away scrolling on social media, and I'm going to get up and get dressed and finish the dishes. So if we can gently encourage each other in that way, it's just such a better reframe, and it makes it seem like there are still things possible. You know, just because part of the day didn't go how you wanted doesn't mean that we can't reset and get on track for another part of the day.
And I really do care about what you're going through right now. And it can be really helpful. Like, A, you showed up today. That is step one towards getting your house totally under control, right? So well done. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to bring energy and it's going to be fun. We're going to get stuff done, right? And I know you're okay with both, and I appreciate that. But also, I do care about how are you today, because that kind of informs what are we going to tackle and how far are we going to go when we're decluttering or cleaning or tidying. Like, if you're like, dude, I am in it now, like I'm sad, I have low energy. I mean, don't even talk about motivation, right? Okay, maybe you just want to tidy up while we work today. Maybe we're just going to get the dishes done, and that's totally fine. On the other hand, if you're on the other hand, you're like, I acknowledge, I witness your guys' grief, but I'm like ready to go, right? Okay, let's go all in. Like, I'm going to give you prompts, like be ruthless, right? So just know where you're at and what you're able to commit to. Everything that we do is productive and helpful. We always feel better after we just do a little movement, do the dishes, get stuff cleaned up. We always, always, always feel better, right? So we don't have to solve all the problems in our kitchen today. We don't have to declutter all the things. Just tidying up and cleaning up is going to feel so good too. So tailor how you're feeling, or what your goal is for today to how you're feeling. Okay, so we're in the kitchen today. We always like to talk about mindset shifts. So how do I need to think differently about the stuff in my kitchen, and then the actual tactics. So hands down, the biggest mindset shift that I made, and also my mom and I talk a lot about in her kitchen, she's been very open and I'm so grateful for her, is that your kitchen should serve your current season of cooking. So again, I worked at the Olive Garden and Applebee's. When I was at the Olive Garden, it was set up to cook Italian food and their limited menu, and everything in there was for that. And then I go to Applebee's and it was different. It was smaller, more efficient too in many ways, I thought. But there was only stuff in there for what they were currently cooking and the type of cooking that they were doing, right? And then what else I learned from being in restaurant kitchens, maybe if you've been in restaurants before, especially like chains, I think that have it more dialed into like efficiency, is that at the end of the night, you've had a long shift, and then you have to do your side work and you have to like clean up and everything. But it was so easy to put everything away and wipe everything down. Like it was easy. And that has really stuck with me. And so I really want to encourage you, mindset shift is that our kitchen should match our current season of life. And so if you are not doing elaborate baking, fancy cooking, you have recipe books you're not using, any kind of duplicates or extra serving dishes that you're just not serving, that type of stuff, we want to move that stuff out. Now, if your decluttering muscles are strong, just donate it, right? Just catch you later, right? If you're like, I don't feel that decisive right now, I'm just not quite there yet, grab a cardboard box, a Rubbermaid tote, any kind of container, and we're just going to do a time will tell bin. That gives us very helpful data to work with. Just make sure you're putting a date on it. And then I'll help remind you to circle back to these in a month or two. So if kitchens are one of the top places that I recommend using a time will tell bin. So if you need to do that today and it's going to help you go a little further and really set your kitchen up for your current season, then please use that tool. It is very effective. All right. Yeah, Rhonda says, I managed in several fast food chains. They have it streamlined for sure. Yes. And we need that too. Because man, we don't want to put any extra effort into our kitchen. Like, come on, we have better things to do with our lives, right? Or not, or I'd rather just sit like, oh man, we got like the peppermint mocha coffee. from like it's the Starbucks, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to buy coffee out, right? So so it's like peppermint mocha flavored coffee, right? You just add a touch of heavy cream and it is so good. I would right now in this season, rather than maintaining my kitchen, I would rather be sitting, drinking this and reading a book, right? Or snuggling with Gage on the couch while he plays Minecraft on the iPad, right? So we have better things to do. So we're going to let the extra stuff go that is not serving us in this current season. Okay, so that is our mindset shift, right? And then how tactically do we get there? So again, if you have the energy this morning, we are going to start with the floor. So you'll hear us say floor first. And this is because it's actually very unsettling to our brains to have stuff stored on the floor. Now, with that being said, I understand how stuff gets stored on the floor. Often it's like pet food, extra, I was going to call it pop, soda, cases of water. It's like you go to Costco and then you have extra stuff. But I really want to encourage you, if at all possible, to get stuff up off the floor and to find another spot for it. Now, for 90% of us, our kitchens are big enough. We do not need to store stuff on the floor. And also we don't need to store stuff on the top of the fridge either, right? Now, my mom has a pretty good sized kitchen here, but even in our smaller kitchen at home, we didn't need to store stuff on the floor. So just, sometimes it's been there so long, you're like not even thinking about it anymore, right? But start to question the stuff on the floor and think, okay, if the floor is lava and I have to move this stuff up off the floor, where would I put it? Where would it go? We are going to tackle my mom's pantry coming up in the new year. There's a lot of stuff stored on the floor in there, but we're really going to do our best to get it up off because that floor never gets cleaned then, right? Like it just makes everything harder. So if we can get stuff off the floor, visually it feels better to our brain because stuff on the floor feels unsafe to us, but then also physically it's so much easier to clean and we're more likely to clean if cleaning is easy. So I'd love to know in the comments too, like if you have anything that you've just kind of chronically stored on the floor and can you think of a way to move it or to store it somewhere else. Now, sometimes that means we have to declutter a cabinet or something else, right? And then we're confronted with appliances or extra pots and pans or storage containers. So that does often force us to declutter some other areas. And again, you might not get that all done today, but let it roll around the back of your brain. Like, okay, in the new year, I want to have an efficiency kitchen. I want it to be streamlined. My goal is to get this stuff off the floor. Where are we going to put it? So we'll be thinking about that and anything that you possibly can. Yeah, so I'm seeing like pet stuff. I store cereal on my refrigerator. Yes, Margot, along with like half of America, I think, right? I know. Yes. It's we never did that growing up because we live close to where like multi-meal cereal is produced. Now it's Post, but so our cereal always came in bags. And I'm saying bag like a Minnesotan. So you couldn't store it on top of the fridge. Like they didn't just like stand up nicely. So I never grew up with that. It was never a thing. My dad did use the top of the fridge just to put all his change and whatever because he's tall. So that was like his domain where he kept all his stuff. But we didn't ever actually have cereal boxes up there. But I know that is very common. So I did also get my mom to clear off the front of the fridge, which has been staying that way. Now she has some stuff on the side, but that's okay. It's less visual. And I like my heart just like sighed with relief when she agreed to that. So, all right. Yes, Marty, I just cleared my floor. Awesome. Good job. Oh, empty plant pots. Right. Yes. Those can go, right? Awesome. Connie says, so I have a space in my utility room where I keep extra water and drinks. Should I get a small bookcase cabinet to pull those things off the floor? That's a good question, Connie. I would just try to be aware of it and take inventory and just like kind of ask yourself over the next like couple weeks, like, would it feel better to me if that was up off the floor, if it were easier to clean around it? Also, if it's contained. I think that's the hard thing with stuff on the floor too, is that it's not contained and our brains do not like stuff that's not contained. Even cereal boxes on top of the fridge, they're kind of contained. You're limited by the size of the top of the fridge, but it's not actually contained and our brains don't like that. Let alone the visual clutter, but anyways.
Ooh, bags of apples from the orchard. That sounds lovely. I'll trade you some peppermint mocha coffee for some apple crisp. Awesome. Oh yeah, also okay, well, I guess we're going to get into it now. Storing stuff on top of the cabinets too. Here's the thing. You do you, right? We like if you're like, I love the stuff on top of my cabinets. I very carefully curate it. It makes my heart happy. Love it. Keep it. But if it's just there because you thought you needed something up there, the stuff never gets dusted. My mom did have some like greens and there was a couple other things up there for a while. And we pulled it down one day. She was like, oh, we should probably clean these. I'm like, we could clean them or we could throw them away, and she's like, gone, right? Again, we're just questioning things like, yeah, I always did that, or my mom did that, or I put this here when we moved in, or my husband just stuck it up there one day, or whatnot, right? So we know how that stuff gets there, and we're just questioning it and being like, is that how I still want my kitchen to feel and look? And you can be like, yeah, love it, or not. My mom has, these open shelves over here. And personally for me, there's a little much inventory on there. I like them. There's a lot of cute stuff on there. It's just a little too much to look at. I think you're kind of like, oh, where do we focus, right? But that's fine. She likes it. Isn't really interested in simplifying it. I'm like, that's fine because you've been cool with the other stuff. All right, so floor first. So we're getting our floors cleared off. And then next, counters, right? You knew it was coming. Cleaning our counters. Now, again, my mom has a lot more counter space, so I don't expect, I'm gonna put this on the air fryer. I don't expect, in our house it's kind of dark here. In our house, getting the counters clear except for the coffee maker felt right. It felt good. Again, my brain just kind of like would sigh at the end of the night when everything was cleaned up. It's like, all right, all is right with the world, right? Now here, if we cleared everything off, it would feel a little bit bare. So again, we're just going around and questioning everything. Now, we do have, so the utensil caddy lives there. That's fine. That works. This does not. We've been making smoothies to try and kick these coughs. So that doesn't normally live there. I was going to put it away even before we started, but I'm like, I actually really need to make smoothies again today. So I'm going to leave it out, but that lives there. Something we've gone back and forth on is this extra, this is a duplicate coffee pot because they also have the one right there. But my brother and I like strong coffee, and my parents are good with the bun and just the kind of, regular coffee. Great. So we do have this extra coffee pot out. We use it every day. What I like about it though is that if we have company over, people are coming over, it fits in the pantry, we have a spot for it, and we can tuck it away. So I'm not putting it away every day, and that's okay, but it can get put away when we have company over, especially if like extra food and stuff out and people, it's nice to get anything extra tucked away. We also have, because we didn't cook our Thanksgiving food, we have sweet potatoes. I'm gonna try and roast those up today. So those don't normally live there. My mom does also have this little container with salt and pepper and butter. But again, it's contained. What I don't love is because it's next to the stove, it gets greasy. So I feel like I'm washing it every week to keep it clean. Whatever, it's fine. She likes it. Like in my perfect world, this stuff would actually live on the open shelves because it would be up off the counters. If you do have stuff that like has to sit out, I use that with air quotes because most stuff does not have to sit out. Putting some kind of container around it is really helpful. And then similarly, there's the bread basket in the corner. And so it's contained, for some like bread just goes bad if it's not in sight and you don't use it. So do you have any smoothie recipes and nutritional supplements to share? No, we just put in spinach and then cuties and then anything else like apples. We have some blueberries in the fridge. We're going to use up today, strawberries. So I try to make a good base of spinach. That's the main thing I'm trying to get into them. And then make it taste better with fruit. Get berries in there for the whatever good things. Cuties for the vitamin C. No, some water and ice. But if anyone has good recipes, you can let me know. I'm not fancy. Dawn, is there a rule for what you should donate based on how often or how long it has been since it has been used or needed? Great question, Teresa. I like 1 year as a guideline because it means you've gone through all the seasons and holidays, especially in the kitchen. It's like, okay, I didn't use that for Thanksgiving. I didn't use that for the 4th of July. I thought I was going to do this. So I think in the kitchen, the 1 year rule is very safe. Again, mindset shifts. When we got our kitchen highly simplified, I went from a person that, didn't like keeping the kitchen clean and did not like cooking to someone who was like, that's not so bad. Is it my favorite thing ever now? No, like still not, but more enjoyable, more likely to do it, easy to keep it clean. So that's where when you're like looking at stuff and trying to decide, like we have to kind of imagine like, but how would it feel if I didn't have this in here? Like, could I get like that restaurant kitchen, feel where it's like at the end of the night, you just wipe everything down, good to go, move on with life, right? So is it adding that much value that it's worth me like having to still take my time and energy to manage it and have my kitchen function not quite as good as it probably could? All right, so yeah, the other two things that kind of live out, air fryer, my computer's sitting on right now, and then coffee pot. But again, there's space for it, it's good. So, well, and dish rack. We don't use the dishwasher here, and so lots of dishes going on now, right? So that stays out, and it's fine. And it doesn't, it's funny because like in our kitchen at home, like having the dish rack out, and it like literally just fit between the stove and the sink. Oh, it just felt so cluttered. But here, not so much. So there's actually like kind of a lot of things that sit out, and it's fine. And there is room to tuck it away if we want to. So it's, yeah, I think it's personal to our own kitchens, our own clutter thresholds, but I do always want to, encourage you to go further than you might think. And then usually too, when we talk about, clearing our counters, we talk about like, okay, how do we move some of the stuff off? So I did, here at my parents' house too, we have the knife blocks that go in the drawer. So if you're wanting to get a knife block off of your counter, it was only like $10 on Amazon too. I really like this knife block that goes in the drawer. We have it here and at our house. So that has been great. Obviously utensils can just go in a drawer if you want to. What are some of the other things? Dish racks can, if you have a spot for it, like under the sink, put it away, or you could get a smaller one, or even one that just goes over the sink. We had that for a while. I really liked that too. So there's options for that, or just use a drying mat too instead of the actual dish rack. I'm trying to think of like what are some of the other things that are typically out. Fruit is hard, but again, even if we can get it up, like if you have wall space to put a basket on the wall, or for me it was more developing the habit of eating fruit rather than it having to sit out front and center all of the time. So we would put our fruit in the pantry, but then it was like every meal I was just like, okay, let's pull that out for dessert or whatever, right? All right, where do you store bananas, onions, garlic, bread? Fruit. My mom had a fruit basket. We don't have it out right now. So we have been putting it in a bowl right now. So it kind of, but again, we're trying to like get it into the kids right now. So it's up to you if you want to have something that sits out, or if you can put it out of sight and still have it get used up. Garlic and onions we actually store in the fridge. I know that's unconventional. I don't know. It's just, it's a good place for them. Then we don't have to worry about them. But yeah, Rochelle says, Dawn, hearing you say that items on the floor actually make us feel unsafe was huge. I always scan the floor as I move around the house, and now I understand why. Yes, that is a very, what's the word? Primitive thing that we do. Like we're always looking low for threats. And that's why, too, well, actually, it's actually a speed cleaning tip too. Like if you're cleaning fast before someone would come over, floor first, get stuff off the floor, and then tidy your flat surfaces, but floor first, like because new people coming in will be very sensitive to it as well. And you've probably experienced that too when you've gone to others' homes. You're just like, oh, there's just like it's all there, like I don't. So anyways, it's fine. No judgment though, right? Like we're all doing the best we can, right? So I showed you my dead plant 2 days ago or yesterday, whatever that was. So we're doing the best we can. Awesome. Yeah, store my bread in the fridge and fruit. Yeah, fruit can be stored in the fridge too, right? So I also do want to challenge you just a little bit, because sometimes we think like, oh, if it's not out on the counter in sight, we're going to forget about it. This becomes background like to our brains very quickly. So
like we think it has to stay out for us to use it. That's not always actually the truth. But again, just things for us to be aware of, and to question things that maybe we haven't ever questioned in the past. All right, so floor first, then our flat surfaces, our counters. And then from there, I think the things that really made the biggest difference in our kitchen were simplifying pots and pans, our everyday dishes, and food storage containers. Because, I mean, just think about like most people, I mean, most I would think have dishwashers and you use that. And it's like, oh, no one wants to unload the dishwasher, right? Because usually when all of the dishes are clean, it's kind of hard to put dishes away, right? So as we have simplified our dishes and the pots and pans, it's so much easier to put them away, and then you don't like dread that task so much and it's more likely to get done. It's also easier for your family to participate too. So, and you know, we had upgraded to the Corelle dishes at home. Love them. They're light, they don't break very easily, but also what is this magical finish they put on it that washes up so easy? So so we've been doing that here at my parents' house too. We got these ones have the pretty blue, you can't really tell, border on them, but then we wanted to get like some more cereal bowl sizes. And then something else my mom had asked about, we found it on the Corelle website, where they call these meal bowls. And so they're bigger. They're great for like salads or things that might otherwise slide around a plate. So we also got these, and it's nice because you can just buy certain pieces. So we got these, which have been really nice and enjoyable. And then we have the dinner size plates and the smaller plates. But all of us were just like, these were such a good investment. You know, Christmas is coming up. You might ask for them. They last forever. But again, the way they wash up, I don't know. It's like a non-stick surface on them, and they're fantastic. So these have been great. But also like simplified too. So it's just really easy. I generally don't like these like little riser things, but these are just where we keep the little plates, and they don't get used all that often. So it's fine. These get used most often, and so they're easy like to get in and out. So even this kind of stuff, just be aware of like, is it helping or not? If I simplified, maybe I don't need those things, right? They're just sometimes harder to navigate around to put stuff away, but again, you do you. All right. And then again, you know, food storage containers. My mom's here, so I'm not gonna. But we haven't quite got to the point of storing them with the lids on, and that's fine. They just get stacked up in this cabinet down here, and there's more than what we would have at home. But I know some people sometimes say they get smelly or it just doesn't work for you. If at all possible, I think setting a container, like a limit container wise, like a cabinet, or like my mom has a basket here that goes in her pull-out drawer that they go into. So set some kind of limit for where they all have to fit, and then pare down to what fits in there, preferably with the lids on. But again, if that works for you, if you're like, I've just never been able to make that work, it's fine. It's not like worth like putting too much energy into, but excuse me, grab my water. That has made a big difference too, is condensing and simplifying the food storage containers. But here's the thing, like if you really want to make your kitchen feel different, you get the floor cleared up, the counters, it is going to feel different, and you're going to start enjoying the benefits very quickly. Like even if you're like, I don't have as much time right now to do like a full kitchen declutter, focus on your flat surfaces. And also then now as we go forward, focus on keeping it tidied up. Your family is going to notice the difference very quickly. You know, Tom would often say like, when the kitchen's clean, it feels like life's under control. And I'm like, yeah, there's actually truth to that. And so really, as we go forward and through the holidays, focusing on keeping it tidy, it's going to make such a big difference. And it is going to give us good momentum going into the new year when we circle back around to kitchens again and go further with it. So I understand if you're like, I want to do more now, but I can't. Focus on your flat surfaces, clearing off the front of the fridge, getting the stuff off the top of the fridge, right? So floors, counters, fridge, it'll make a gigantic difference right away. And I do think you're going to start to notice the difference, and then it is going to propel you forward as we get into harder things like appliances and that kind of stuff. Okay, I do want to make sure we're leaving enough time to answer questions too. So if you have any questions, if you want to go ahead and put a question mark in front of it, it makes it the easiest
Yeah, Tracy says, I got married 2 years ago. My husband really likes the dishes done every night. I'm really working on that now. Yeah, and that is going to be one of our foundational principles in the new year is doing the dishes every day. I mean, two reasons. They're harder the longer they sit, right? So that is one of the few tasks that actually gets harder the more we put it off. But also, I think it's like it's the mindset. It's the oh, I got the dishes done, so I might as well just wipe down the counters and sweep the floor quick. I don't know why it works, but like every cleaning routine or system that you follow, from Fly Lady to Clean Mama to all of those, involve, Data's methods involve doing the dishes every day. And so I do think there is something to it. I am very much one who rebels against like you have to do this every day. You have to make your bed every day. And I will not make my bed every day, But when it comes to dishes, I'm like, yeah, you guys are right. Right. And there's no shame or shade or anything with it. It's just like, yeah, like I can see how that makes sense. Right. Do you have a link for those dinner bowls? We can grab it because they do have them. They have them on Amazon, and then or you can order directly from the Corral website. I do think, Jackie, that I do have them in my Amazon store. So yeah, my morning self thanks my night self for doing the dishes. I love that. That has never motivated me. Like your future self will thank you. I'm like, man, they'll be fine. Like my right now self doesn't feel like doing it, right? But I know for many, like that's a very motivating, and I'm just like, meh. Like so. My husband does the dishes, and I don't think he got the memo on doing the counters and floors as well, but I'll take it. Yeah, yeah. That's cute. Yeah. I mean, in my perfect world, it's like the person who cooks doesn't have to clean up. That's kind of the system Adeline and I were getting into. I think that is like the most fair. But we're getting it all dialed in. I work from home and live pretty far from town. It's hard for me to take things to Goodwill, and we don't have trash pickup. Any suggestions? Ooh, yeah, that does make it a little bit harder, doesn't it? You might just have to commit, like put it on the calendar, like, okay, I am gonna make a big trip to Goodwill next Saturday or something, and then just like be like, it's a pain in the butt, but I'm gonna load everything up and I'm gonna try and get as much stuff done before then. Or, without trash pickup, you might just decide like a lot of this stuff isn't worth donating. I'm just gonna make a trip to the dump. We have been, I mean, in our area, I think it's $40 to take a load to the dump, but that's like for a trailer. I don't even know what just a carload would be. And so I know Data talks a lot about that. Like that's something we often forget about. That is a possibility. So I'm not sure if either of those two things would work, but if anyone else has any ideas too. Dawn, my ice maker. I'm embarrassed to ask my husband if I can declutter it since I asked for it. And it was expensive. Yes, Nova. I am so glad that you said this because, yeah, like we asked for a bread maker or an Instant Pot or a air fryer or what, and they were like, oh, crud, I didn't use it. We don't know. Like, it's okay. I'm sorry that happened, but permission to humble ourselves and be like, honey, I have to apologize. I thought that was going to be something I was going to use all the time. I'm noticing that I'm not. So, and as I'm learning about clutter in our house and maintaining it, like, I think I'm just going to let it go. So, is that okay? Or I don't even know if you have to ask permission, but yeah, it sucks, but keeping it doesn't fix anything. And in fact, we just feel worse about it when we see it, right? So permission to let it go. We've all been there. That sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah. I actually just gave Diana my bread maker because she's like, oh, I think I'm gonna make bread. I'm like, yeah, I did too. Right? Actually, I loved making sourdough bread, but like, actually, none of us need all those carbs around. When you get a fresh loaf of sourdough bread come out of the bread maker, all you want to do is get a pound of butter and just sit there and eat it. So yeah, anyways, that's fine. When you ask how we're doing, how do we respond to the daily vids in app? Yeah, you can comment on those as well. So there is a commenting section there too. So I would love that. Sharon says, my daughter will be moving into an apartment in the next year or two. Yep. Good questions today. Such good questions. Should I save the items? This comes up so often, Sharon. Only save very high quality things that you think for sure she will use. If you're just like, oh, I have an extra one of these things, for most, and as we've all collaborated on this together, it's like they kind of like getting their own things. They do their own style of kitchen. Many like younger adults now are fairly minimalistic in how they want to set up their first apartments. So set a container, like one bin, one whatever, put stuff in there, let her go through it eventually and see if it's stuff she wants, but don't try to keep a lot of stuff.
So many moms have been disappointed that they're like, oh, I have all this stuff. And like their kids like don't want it or don't use it. I'm sorry. Ugh. Like back when I was that age, I'm like, yeah, I don't have any money. I don't want to, but it's just, it's different these days. It's different. I hand wash my kids' water bottles, so they're always drying on the countertop. Any suggestions? They take up a lot of space. I actually would, if I had stuff I was hand washing and the dishwasher didn't have dirty stuff in it, I would actually use the dishwasher as a drying rack and I would stick the stuff in there and then let it air dry in there. That's not always possible. Where do you put kids' artwork from school if not on the fridge? There are so many cute ways to display kids' artwork. I really like to it in there too. It doesn't have to be out publicly. Our kids are super artsy and we did not display much of their artwork in our main living spaces. I love it. I want to promote creativity. It's visually messy and overstimulating. So finding ways to just display it in their rooms. Amazon has those cute frames where you open the front and put a new thing in the front and it's like clips so you can have a bunch of things in there. So we don't have to store a lot, but I think there are places we can find besides the fridge. I also have a bunch of cups that I have to hand wash and I don't have a double sink, so I can't have a dish drainer in the sink and I'm really hesitant to have one on the counter. Any suggestions? Ooh, I don't know. What do you guys do with that kind of stuff? I love the European setups where it's like a dish drying thing over the sink, like it's up here, but a lot of them don't always have windows above, so it probably works better. Or the built-in dish strainers, they have it figured out. We'll do a real world small pantry video. I'm sure we have an inventory issue, but I can't figure out what to, yeah. Oh yeah. No, we are going to go very in depth into the pantry. This may not be a kitchen question, but what do you do with Christmas cards coming? I tend to leave them laying around in the kitchen, which is clutter to me. Yeah. Ooh. I like to enjoy them for a little bit and then I throw them away. So my mom actually has a basket that she puts them into, and then she likes to like sit and open them with a cup of coffee. So we would like hang pictures on the side of the fridge and then after Christmas, take them down. If it's just one that's just like a more generic one that they're just like Merry Christmas, I throw those away right away. But the main thing is that it's contained. So just have a spot for it. And then our brain is like, okay, it's good. It's contained. So have a dedicated spot, permission to let them go if you don't feel like you need them. That's totally fine too. All right. I love you. I hope you have a really good weekend and I will see you again on Sunday or Monday.
All right, well, I sincerely hope that you found this helpful and that you got a lot of decluttering done alongside of us. This is just part of a playlist of long format decluttering videos that we've done. So if you want just some longer videos that you can put on in the background while you work, that whole playlist is there for you and I hope you find it helpful. And if I could ask a favor, if you haven't done so already, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that is helpful to us as well. Just helps others find us and get their homes decluttered too, because it's so awesome, isn't it? All right, well, thank you for watching. I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you again soon.